Hi, I'm David Essel, and I think this is a pretty darn important video I'm going to do right now. And if you'd like to comment below, please feel free. So, also share these videos. We want as many people to get this information for free as possible. 43 years now in the world of personal growth as a counselor, executive coach, addiction coach, you name it, we do it all. And I want to talk about what do we do after we get out of a treatment center. I did it myself. I've struggled with alcohol and cocaine addiction for 30 years, starting at 12. And once I went into the treatment center thinking that it was going to be all I needed, when I got out, I found the exact opposite was true. The treatment center set me up for potential success. But let me tell you the story of what shook me to my core about the fourth day I was in the treatment center that told me I needed to do something very different than what I had planned once I exited the treatment center. 3 to 4 days in, the medical director stood up in front of everyone. There's about 120 of us in the treatment center and said only 10% of this room will be sober in 1 year. And I remember staring at her going, what? A medical doctor is saying 10% of 100? That's only 12 of us are going to be sober for a year. A year from now, only 12 of us will be sober. I couldn't believe it. And I went up and asked her afterwards. I said, hey, that was a pretty damning statistic. I mean, here I am spending all this money to be here with you, and only 10% of us are going to get sober. And she said, why? I said, why? And she said, David, because people will think that this is all they need, that the treatment center is going to get them sober for life. There's not a chance it will. If it does, it's a miracle. The reason why people will not make it 365 days is that they'll stop everything they learned in here. They'll stop all the rituals. They'll stop the readings. They'll stop everything that we've taught them because they think that they're way ahead of the game. It's called the pink cloud of recovery. And it's so true. So when I got out, I wasn't really sure. I had this information, right? It's like the third or fourth day I'm in for the 30 days of the center. And I get home and I'm remembering that, what she said, only 10% are going to be sober for a year. And the first week that I was home, I was absolutely terrified to be alone. I really was. I had so much anxiety, so much depression, so much overwhelm. How do I handle my life now? I have to rebuild my business because my counseling business had slowed down to zero while I was gone. So I had to rebuild the business. I had to figure out a way to not put myself in a position where I might relapse. I had all of these things racing through my head. And the first week was terrible. And then at the second week, I said, you know what? I need help. And this is what I'm going to recommend. When you get out of a treatment center, even if they offer some ongoing program, unless it's one-on-one, unless it's FaceTime or it's Zoom or it's actually in person, unless you're having that treatment center that you just left supporting the heck out of you, you're going to have to learn how to support yourself. And what we have found to be the number one aid, and what I found was that when I hired a counselor, an addiction counselor, even though I was one, but I was in a treatment center, that told you something was wrong with the picture, right? But when I got out, I found a couple different counselors that I worked with for 52 straight weeks. And that's the solution. Listen, when we talk to treatment centers, we don't say that we want to take your clients or anything like that. We have them work with you. But when they're done, send them to us. Bring them into our program. We have a 3-month program. We have a 52-week program, right? So we are set to go. The book, the brand new book that we put out, David Essel's Permanent Alcohol and Life Recovery. The reason we termed it Permanent Alcohol and Life Recovery is because what we teach is life recovery. We don't even teach recovery from alcoholism because when you recover your life, the alcoholism goes away. And so when you come out of your treatment center and you walk into a program like ours, you're going to have me. If you want me for 52 straight weeks, that's what I did. I hired a counselor for 52 straight weeks, and it made the biggest difference. At the end of that 1 year, when I was one of the 10% that was sober, I felt phenomenal. And then the rest of it became easier and easier and easier until I didn't need any outside support. Then I created my own daily rituals, which I still follow through today. So if you're going to a treatment center, great for you. But the most important part of a treatment center isn't the treatment center. It's how you set up your support system once you leave there. Remember, going back to the old crowd is going to be an option for relapse. Going back to the old gang, option for relapse. So you need to have someone to hold your feet to the fire. You need to have someone to report to, in my opinion, every week for that first year, at least the first 6 months, to get yourself grounded in your, and it doesn't matter what the addiction was, food, nicotine, alcohol, porn, drugs, it doesn't matter what the addiction is. What matters is that you create a proactive support system moving forward, a plan of action. And after that first year, life becomes incredible. I'm David Essel. Join me at talkdavid.com or davidessel.com. Look for our program. We are here for you. We're ready to rock and roll and change the statistics in this country for good. Have an awesome day. I will talk to you soon.